If we had to name a single most important event across all global stock exchanges in 2025 so far, it would be the so-called Liberation Day in the United States. That's how the U.S. presidential administration referred to the day when extremely high import tariffs were proposed on goods coming into the U.S. from other countries. Liberation Day, I remind you, was April 2nd, not April 1st, so that no one would laugh. But after this tariff liberation was announced, there was truly nothing funny left. What followed was a sharp crash on the U.S. stock market and many others around the world. At its worst, the decline in New York exceeded 20%. That's widely considered the threshold for a bear market. When an index falls 20% or more from its previous peak, it officially enters bear territory. On Monday, April 7th, the market seemed to find a bottom, and then from April 9th onward, it began a dizzying V-shaped recovery. And dizzying is no exaggeration. It was the first quarter in history when the market fell by 20% and still ended the quarter with a 5% gain. The V-shaped recovery that began on April 9th is still ongoing as of the second trading week of July. The depth of the drop and the speed of the rebound continue to drive the market upward. I believe the U.S. authorities are likely quite tempted to push the stock market as high as possible, into record territory. Right now, perhaps nothing affects the market more than government action. A fiscal and tax reform has just been completed. Tariff negotiations are also purely under the control of the authorities. Even if the market eventually falls again, what possibly matters to the government is how high it climbs in the meantime. But whether it's wise to continue betting on this upward movement, everyone must decide for themselves. I think the most seasoned investors are now choosing simply to observe. The authorities don't control everything in the markets, though they do control a lot. The same economic event can be perceived differently by the market at different times. And ultimately, what matters more to an investor is how the market reacts, not what the authorities intend. Because it's the market's perception of an event that creates a trend. Liberation Day may affect the markets in two ways. It could either become the springboard for a new bull market, or a magnet dragging prices toward new lows, posing the question, will the April 2025 low be revisited and pushed even lower within the same year? Perhaps that's too pessimistic a scenario today, but I wouldn't rule out such a deep decline. Of course, not in a day or two, and not without a strong reason.